Hi everyone, so I'm doing my next point of my John Maxwell, the law of the inner circle. And the question for today is, who are you drawing into your inner circle? So all of us have an inner circle in life. Some of us have left those friends, those family who were our inner circle behind us, but we can keep in touch today through social media. So for me, my inner circle, I know I can trust them because they have integrity, they're honest and truthful in what they do, they have a positive attitude. If you have people who have a negative attitude, who are telling you it's not going to work out, you're never going to accomplish this, look at you, you can't do anything, I don't think you can hold a job, that's not a good circle to keep in your inner circle. You need to have people who are positive, who can draw out your strengths and who can help you succeed. Then you need to have people who value excellence. If you don't want people on your team who are average, then you need to have people who are going to, when you tell them this is the right way to do it or this is the way to change, so that you can get a better score or you can do things to help you in your business, they're going to take it on board and they can do it. And that's something that is important. It was important whether I was in South Africa or England or Zimbabwe or wherever I work. We all get given pointers where we can change, where we can improve, and we need to do it with gentleness. There's no point coming down on people and being harsh on them. We're all dealing with a lot in our lives, especially those of us who have come here from other countries. Many of us are dealing with being in and out of jobs, being pushed from one contract to the other, not having benefits, not having any exceptions made for us, not having any special treatment. And I'm not the only one that goes through this. I have friends who have gone through it in other places, in England, in Ireland, in Netherlands. Some of the women I know have even said, you know what, once we found someone and we got married, we decided to just leave it because it's not worth it. If you keep coming up against the same barrier and it's discrimination and people are not helping to open doors for you, then there's something wrong with the environment, because you can be the best worker, you can do the most amazing job, and yet in Canada, people who are corrupt, people who are making mistakes, people who are letting illegal students into the country, they're being appointed into ministerial positions. So you can't blame me for that. I was accused of defamation at Credit Suisse. That's something very serious. That is totally untrue, because everything I said and everything I was telling them was the truth. And it wasn't things that were coming just from me. My managers told me. Everything I sent to them in those emails were things that my managers had already told me, that there's a problem in this company. We can't get people to come and stay because of these things that are happening. But what they did was they accused me of the defamation. So instead of looking at how they can fix things and how they can make things better and taking responsibility, they put it all onto me. I was only there for 6 months. Those problems that they had didn't start in those 6 months that I was there. They started a long time before that. And some people told me we didn't want to speak up to them because they don't care. Other people said, you have to speak up because this is your life and your future. So we have to value excellence in ourselves and in our work. And then we also need to be people who show flexibility. So I've had a lot of different opportunities. I've worked in a lot of different areas, and I've shown that I can be flexible and I can adapt to different environments. It's not easy to do, but I had to do it, because if you're going from working in a hospital 1 week and 1 year, you're working there for 6 months, then you're going to work in banking. Can you imagine how much that takes? How much you have to adapt? It takes a lot of flexibility. You need to have people in your team that will show that flexibility, that when things get rough, when they need more people on board, they're willing to be there. And I demonstrated that. I demonstrated that at Teleperformance. When they needed people to work on Sundays, I went in. When they needed people to work a little extra hours, I did it. Yes, I got paid for doing those hours, but I also had my own health to think of. I also have a lot of other things that I'm involved in. My work is one part of my life. It's not the whole part of my life. And then you have to have people who exhibit loyalty, because we're all working together in our teams. We're all supporting each other. We're helping each other. And yet people who are not loyal to the company, people who are doing things like taking their phones onto the floor, coming in drunk, those people are having exceptions made for them. And yet somebody like me and like my friends who are capable, who are competent, who are diligent, we're not getting the exceptions made for us. So there's a problem in North America and in the West and in Europe, because we are the people who should be having the exceptions made for us and who should be getting the special treatment, but we're not. And then you need to value people. You need to have people who treat others with respect and dignity, because at the end of the day, all of us are human beings. So we can also look at what people do. That's the next point. Instead of just looking at what people say, you can look at what they do. They say actions speak louder than words, and that's true. I've already given you a few examples about things that people can do on their teams, what behaviors to look for, what competencies to look for. And also you need to look at, like now in Canada, we have a serious situation where food bank usage is going up, where we have a lot of people coming in, where they don't know how these students got in. They don't know what happened. They're here illegally. They're probably getting jobs. Unlike us who are competent, educated, been here for 22 years and are not getting the good paying jobs. So again, is it me that's the problem? No. It's the injustice in this society. It's a systemic injustice, because what they're saying and what they're saying to people is, oh yeah, we made a mistake, we're fixing it. But look who's suffering. It's the people who are good, the people who are competent, the people who are doing right by Canada. We are the ones who are suffering. I'll give you another example. Justin Trudeau took his daughter with him out. Now he's gone out campaigning. Do you think he did that just because, oh, it's a nice thing to do? No, he didn't. So he took her with him because he wants people to get to know her face, get to know who she is, and it's a political strategy. So when her time comes to get into jobs, to get into do things, people will know, hey, that's Justin Trudeau. They'll know who she is. So watch what they're doing. Don't watch what they're saying to us. Watch what they're doing. Even all the people that go to Harvard and go to all these places in America, many of them go back and they become political leaders in their own countries. But then they've got that network. They've got that network from Harvard and from all these places. You think when Robert Mugabe was leading the country, he didn't have that network? Why do you think they didn't put him in jail? Why do you think they don't impose sanctions against Justin Trudeau? Why do you think Bill Gates didn't go to jail for all the crimes of pornography and everything else that his employees were saying was happening in his company? Because they all know each other, and they'll be like, oh no, we're fixing it, let's just move on, just be nice about it. But when it's other people, they'll take them like Boris Becker, they'll put them in the jail, they'll make them serve their term. And many of us stood by Boris Becker. Novak went to visit him in the prison. People have accepted him back into the tennis community. So there's injustice. Because at the end of the day, he's a tennis player. Maybe he didn't understand exactly what they were saying to him about their laws, their finance laws. Finance is very, very complicated. It's a whole industry on its own, just like healthcare. It has different rules, different regulations, different regulatory bodies. So, I mean, just look at that. Look at it and compare it. And I'm not just saying that for Justin Trudeau. I can tell you that in my own life, even when I was a little girl, my dad used to take me with him when he used to go to the different shops in Kwekwe. All his Hindu friends, his Muslim friends, used to take me with him. And then people knew, like, okay, this is Alex's daughter. That's how it's done. So make no mistake, for all my friends, all the family watching this, do it. They're not going to do it for us. They're not going to open the doors for us. Take your children with you. If they have a children's day at work, take them with you. If there's a bus route available where your child can catch the bus instead of walking in the cold and risking losing their fingers and their limbs and everything, get them on that bus. And I'm not just talking, I tell my nieces when I speak to them, I'm like, you know what, it's really cold. You could lose your fingers walking in that cold. Like, if there's a bus, take the bus. And also, they're small. It's a long distance to walk. Why? I had to walk 45 minutes from my home to get into town or to go to school. I don't want my nieces and nephews doing what I had to do. And we also have to be careful, because I didn't know, but there was a big case here in California in the 70s about these guys, how they kidnapped these children just out of spite. They were like sons, and their fathers were big shots in the healthcare industry and things. And they took them, they kidnapped them in a school bus, and they buried them alive. I mean, I never grew up with that in Africa. Yes, we grew up in a civil war, and we knew there was a war. But for people to do that kind of cruelty and to children, and those kids, they were determined. They managed to get out of that bus. They came out of that bus, and I think they made a documentary on that. So we have to look after our children the way we did in Zimbabwe, and we always have. We have to guide them. We have to advise them. We have to tell them. The same way that our brothers and sisters tell us and give us pointers and say, oh, did you think about this? Or did you think about getting some heated socks or heated gloves? We have to do that for the children that are coming up. Zimbabwe had a big conference with all the Southern African leaders for the children. It's good. They must carry on doing that. And the politicians are standing up to these churches. The Anglican Church had big scandals. People are getting killed by these so-called religious people who are coming in and setting up camps and then abusing the children. It shouldn't be acceptable. And it's good that they're getting caught. So we have to look at what we do in our own lives as well. And we have to look at how we can encourage wisdom and share information so that we improve the entire team and we improve the entire family. Because as our team rises, so we will rise. Unfortunately for me, as my team rises, I am falling. So that is not on. So, I'm doing everything I can to change it for myself. But I'm telling you now, start doing it for your nieces, your nephews, whoever, start doing it. Because we have to do it. And then look at how they lessen your load. So there are always new people coming onto teams. There are new people when our families marry. People can make things easier for us. People can learn from us. And as they learn from us, then we can go to the next level. And we can enjoy the next level. So that this quote he gives is, only if you reach your potential as a leader do your people have a chance to reach their potential. There are two kinds of people on earth today. Just two kinds of people, no more, I say. Not the saint and the sinner, for it's well understood. The good are half bad and the bad are half good. No, the two kinds of people on earth, I mean, are the people who lift and the people who lean. And that's by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. So we need to lift each other up, professionally and personally. We need to lift each other up. Nobody pays for me to keep my HRPA dues. I pay for those myself. Because for me, it's a standard of excellence. It shows that I'm working in the interests of the public. And companies come against me, just like Credit Suisse did. But it was the right thing to do. And lawyers have told me that. The Human Rights Commission has told me that. After 22 years, people are still going through the same things. Why? Because the people at the top are supporting it. It's like, oh, I'm the VP, you don't tell me what to do. Well, no, what if you're doing what you're doing is wrong, we should be able to tell you. Your title can be taken away from you tomorrow. And then we all have influence. So our inner circle can help us to lead better. They can assist us day to day. They stay with us. They compensate for our weaknesses. They help us focus on today, to learn from the past, to cover the details, and to close doors for us. And our outer circle, they're there from time to time. They'll come in, they'll help us when needed. They help you to lead bigger. They'll help you to get to the changes that you need to make. They help you focus on tomorrow, on the future. The outer circle is always focused on the future. They'll help you to innovate and uncover the big picture, and they'll help to open new doors for you. So it's important to remember that, to maximize our potential and to become the best leaders that we can be. Without our inner circle, we can't go far. With a strong inner circle, we can go further than we had ever imagined. Why do you think when Jesus went out, he went out with others? Because if there's others with you on that journey, you can help each other. Even on the road to Emmaus, when he appeared to the disciples, he went with them because he knew they needed that encouragement. He knew they needed to have their eyes opened to see the fulfillment of what he said would happen. We need that inner circle. We need those people with us who can help us to get to the highest level possible. It's the same thing as when our relatives or my dad sang in a band. They did it under apartheid rules, and they had good inner circle. They had good friends. They had people that played together the same way that we did it with my cousins when we sang in the church. We did it through family. Now, if we're scattered and one is here, one is in Vancouver, one is in England, we can't do it because people don't have the same interests as us. They don't have the same music tastes as us. They don't have the same faith as us. And they're not interested. It's not like I haven't tried. I have tried here to say, okay, contact restaurants, contact places where I can play, contact some of the festivals. I tried. I didn't get selected. So again, I just said, okay, I'll just play at home. I'll do my music at home. Slowly I'll build things up. I'll get a microphone next. I'll get a stand. And then I'll keep doing it. And I'll do it for myself. And if other people enjoy it, that's good. Maybe something will come of it. But I can't just sit back and say I'm not going to do anything. And I've never been that way. I've never been somebody who just sits back and says, well, I'm not going to do anything. When I could, I got my keyboard. When I could, I took the next level of job available. I retrained, I got my skills, I got my credentials. When my friend Joe Orak introduced me to this and said, you should take it, it might help you, I didn't say, oh no, I'm not interested, thanks Joe. I don't want to grow. I don't want to get better. I'm not interested in making it big. I said, okay, thanks, Joe, I'll look into it. And I'll do whatever I need to do. I'll change whatever I need to change so that I can be successful. And I can own my cars, my mansions, my planes, whatever I want. I did it with my jewelry. I have a lot of jewelry. Some of it my mom gave me and my relatives, but most of it I bought on my own. So we have to start with the small things, and then we can do the big things. Never forget that those closest to you will determine the level of your success, because it's the absolute truth. Those in our inner circle, in our organization, know that we've invested in them, and we become highly valuable when we invest in people and we help them. When people guide us, they become valuable to us, because we don't want to lose those people, because they've helped us to see where we need to change, how we need to grow, what we need to do. And so that's the law of the inner circle, and we can apply it whether we're on a board in a non-profit. We can apply it whether we're in Zimbabwe, helping Rotary, or in our churches, or working with children. I apply it every day in my work when I'm working. I do apply it. And believe you me, it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you're coming up against the same system and the same problem, where you've told somebody the right thing to do. You've told them this is what you need to do. Other people do it wrong, and then you get fired. Your ID doesn't get set up, and then you get fired. And this has been going on for 22 years. Oh, we don't have any position. Oh no, there's nothing for you. Down the line, we'll keep you in mind. Well, when is down the line coming? When is it going to be my turn? When is it going to be our turn to come up and to have those houses and have stability, and not have our mothers getting food from the food banks? Because we didn't do this country down. Other people did this country down. And believe you me, I mean it when I say take your children and take your nieces and take your nephews with you. And when they come to your countries, invite them. I invited my brother when he came. The same way I've told my sister, bring the children and come. The door is open. Because I want people to know, hey, that's my brother, those are my nieces. I want people to know. Because I've done a lot in this community, and even in Zimbabwe. I did a lot in Zimbabwe for the church, for our Queen's Club, for the places I volunteered, the same in South Africa. I did a lot at Trinity House. I was in leadership positions. I played the organ at church. I helped to organize fundraising events. People know my leadership skills. So until I can get to that right place and that right company where people are not going to keep firing me because of others' incompetence and because other people are not following direction, or they don't like the fact that my culture doesn't agree with their culture, I have to keep going and I have to keep looking. And believe you me, racial discrimination is just one part of it in this country. It's just one part of it. There's also the credentials, there's who you know, there's who's rooting for you, who's willing to help open doors for you. There's a lot of different factors that come into it. And John Maxwell wrote these books for American audiences because the problems are happening right here. There's no drought to blame for people lining up at our food banks in Canada, in Toronto. There's no one to say, oh, colonialism did this to us, because they are the colonizers who are running the country. So who are they going to blame? Me? Belinda made all these policies. Belinda brought Credit Suisse down. Belinda is doing defamation against Credit Suisse. I mean, really? Give me a break. And instead of focusing on me, look at the reality of what's happening. Because their lawyers are also stupid for doing what they did. Because the lawyers that advised me told me, this is wrong. These are points that matter. these are the points that you're making are valid. And you take a box of chocolates from a single woman and then you issue a cease and desist. I mean, give me a break. Because people are tired of it. And I'm tired of it. And I don't understand, for the life of me, with the Canadian population knowing that they're letting illegal people in, undocumented students, people are lining up at food banks, people are saying, oh, no, it's fine. Oh, let them have affairs. No, let them be. Promote them to management. Promote them into ministerial positions. Until when? Until we all become like Belarus and we all become like Zimbabwe? Because it's starting. It's starting. So I don't know. I mean, John Maxwell was successful with the speaking and he has advised leaders and turned things around. But I don't know whether it's going to work in Canada because, believe you me, I'm doing all the right things and I'm getting all the wrong results. These are not the results I should be getting with doing what I've done. And in Zimbabwe, our families helped each other. They helped each other to open businesses, to buy properties, to get jobs. When you come here as a migrant, nobody helps you. Who's going to help me? You think they're going to help me? They're going to put me forward for the menial jobs, the low-paying jobs. I'm the one that's saying, look at my experience. I've been here 22 years. This is what I can do for you. This is how I can help your company. This is where I can benefit your company. That's the way we have to do it. Or you can tell people, oh, my child is in ballet or gymnastics. Like, compete with them. Don't just let them say, oh yeah, our children are better than yours. Since when? Since when are their children better than us? Give me a break. With the little we had and with the 10 step backwards, we do better than them. We are not to be put in these menial positions and put down. We deserve better. And it's time that things worked out for us. You think that we grew up with wealth, that we went to California and New York and all these places? No, it was done on debt. The same way I'm doing it now, investing in my education. Because I want things to be better for me and I want things to be better for the next generation. I want to get that good paying job. I don't want to be taking 50 calls a day or 100 calls a day and doing 3 chats at a time and unnecessary pressure on me. I want to be starting to oversee things, giving the advice, giving the guidance. I don't want to go to a shop and ask for hot chocolate and they give me milk. Really? I'm not a kid. Start treating us with the respect that we deserve because we treat ourselves with that respect. And we know our inner circle. We know our value. Just because other people don't see it doesn't mean that we don't know our value. If we could come out of the war in Zimbabwe, build up our communities, help each other, be there for each other, you need to think about that as Canadians and North Americans. Because you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to see the tanks in the streets or the blood-stained pavements. You didn't have to run to the shop to see, oh, the police are coming. So let's go and make sure our parents are okay. Give us some respect. Treat us with some respect because God knows we deserve it. It's time that things changed. And I'm telling you now because I'm not just saying it, because my parents did it for me and my grandparents. Take your children. Don't just let the Justin Trudeaus of this world get on a gravy train and take advantage of us. Do it. Change things.